Basically, I mean, it ends up kind of going nowhere. She's about to have them sent back to, I assume, jail. And then Pike shouts out to his communicators, like, all right, guys, bring it down to visible. Make sure everybody can see you. And, hey, what do you think the size of my stick now?
Yeah. I have the big stick now, so why don't you just calm that down?
Because I'll start just swatting shit out of the air if you want to be that way about it. All right, so then we cut to newscasters and reports of the government and factions meeting. Back on the ship, there's a conversation I was having trouble following. I know it's a theme of some kind, but I just wasn't picking it up. And that it was about thinking you are going to have a way out all the way up until the moment you're about to die, when you just feel surprised because you finally have to realize that you're not getting out.
Well, I mean, even the Civil War comment here is, I think, accurate to our own time. You kind of see people on one side or the other in our real world political affiliations who welcome a Civil War type thing, a violent Civil War, but none of them have ever lived through something like that. So it's fairly abstract to them. You don't think about all that stuff until it's happening, and you can't stop it from happening. I think that's kind of where she was going with that.
I can kind of see that. That does widen it up a little bit, but yeah, you go from the personal to the societal at that point.
Yeah, I mean, because you got a bunch of untrained and undisciplined people who will at least say they are willing to fight and die for the things that they believe, which might be true, but that idea is abstract until you're standing in formation.
No, it's very true. Last year I bought a replica of the Colt Single Action Army, and here in California we have pretty strict laws about buying firearms, right? So I had to go in and out of this gun store several times just to get the waiting period, all the paperwork, blah, 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 blah. And on a lot of the stuff on the walls and printed on papers and t-shirts they're selling, it says, if called to arms, I will answer. And there is, no kidding, 6 blocks from us, Army, Navy, and Air Force recruitment offices. And I'm just thinking, like, I could drive you guys right to a place right now. You want to be called to arms, we have open enrollment, people.
Yeah, a lot of people think they're about that life until it comes to them. I really think that that's what this conversation's about.
Okay, all right.
Because that war bomb's going to do more than just destroy the seditious faction.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. There was an interesting line here where Leanne says, not believing you're going to die is what gets you killed.
Yeah, you do stupid stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mike asked her to repeat it. She apologizes, recalling something her father said. If Pike had read more of her file, he would have picked up on the story that she was on the SS Puget Sound. It was attacked by the Gorn. The crew brought to one of their planetary nurseries. She had not understood her father's meaning at first, but had time to think about it, and she was the only member of the crew that survived, and part of it was that she realized, like, everybody else was thinking they were going to get away, and she's like, I'm dead. But apparently the Gorn have a tradition that whoever survives their breeding sacs and their feeding, whatever it is the Gorns are doing with people, they take the one survivor, stick them on a life raft, and shoot them back into space.
Yeah, again, not to keep referencing other stuff in here, but that statement also reminded me of the first Pirates movie where Jack's in jail with these other couple lower criminals, and they see the Black Pearl and coming up to the town or whatever, and start giving the legend about the Black Pearl, and then one of them says, they say they never leave any survivors, and then Jack's like, well, how the stories get out then? So this sounds like something like that where they want the stories to come out, so they're going to leave one person alive to tell it.
Well, Genghis Khan used to do stuff like that too, where he'd slaughter an entire party and leave one alive and send them back, tell your masters what's happened kind of thing. Well, he either did that or that actually happened when he sent one of his people one of his groups to talk to somebody, but that was like a thing back in the olden days. You'd leave one person alive to, like, oh my God, you guys,
Just to make sure they didn't think it was some passive aggressive move. They had to know it was you.
Exactly.